Welcome, everyone, to San Antonio by Night, episode 5 of season 2. We are starting on a new night for the coterie. The individuals that we've been following through our chronicle, Urien, Benji, and Amber, had gone their separate ways for the night last time. Amber went to go and meet with a woman from the fashion industry she knows by the name of Maxine Forrest, attempting to coax her into a business partnership. Benji took a stroll, and I'm blanking on what exactly it is that he did last time, because I'm a pleb. But suffice it to say, things got interesting. And they're going to continue to get interesting as we continue our chronicle. The Barons, Batista, and Delgado have agreed to meet one another, with a few choice company involved. Amber, Urien, and Benji have been invited as the onlookers for Baron Delgado. It is assumed that Baron Batista would have the same. But there's also another thing going on. In the case of Urien, his little cult that he's been cultivating in regards to feeding the coterie has been seeing a little bit of a downswing. Attendees are backing out of their commitments to join, and Urien suspects that a mortal, a Father Tyson Trent, may be involved. And so let's open up with some thoughts this evening as our kindred awake.
Take it away, Amber.
Well, I suppose if the mic is being handed to me, then sure, I'll take it away. There's been a lot of different things happening over the past couple of nights. I'm actually starting to get this little venture of mine off the ground. Having to deal with Maxine for one isn't the most pleasant thing in the world. She's a the thing is, she's she's a right fucking bitch. But you know, it's just a thing. She'll come around to my way of thinking eventually. And if she doesn't, well, maybe I'll just have to give her a little bit more of a nudge. Off a cliff will did prick. Now, there's the meeting of the barons. And that's gonna be interesting. Hopefully I don't, like I did last time. I did not like myself for that. This time I should be able to blend in a little better. Do a little better. Or a lot better in this case. And then there's that little thing that Urien asked me to look into, that... Is it Deacon Collins? Yeah, Deacon Collins, the detective, is looking into Mr. Doyle. I'll have to... Tonight I'll have to, do some proper investigation. I put my feelers out a little bit, but now I think I need to... After the deal with the barony's done, I have to look towards that. Lots going on in the land of Dupree. Let's just hope that the others are having an easier time of it, and that I don't get any hungrier.
One can only hope. With as catty as you have been with Maxine, one hopes that your beast isn't nearly as catty today. Benji, why don't you give us a little bit of an overview as to what it is that you got up to last time and what you plan to do today?
Last night I decided to tie up some loose ends. Went ahead, checked out that site that Emmanuel gave me some fucking time ago. I'm coming to the conclusion that if I want things done for myself, if I want to get any such shit done, I gotta start being more proactive. Truth is, if anything's worth doing at all, it's worth doing right. It's worth doing to the end. And I have a pretty clear set plan right now. Went to the location, talked to some guys. Something South Side, San Antonio South Side, I don't know. A small time gang, they just deal weed. My hopes is that I can get them set up and established up further up with the Pyrenees. Batista, somewhere between Batista and Delgado. With the Baronese sanction. Between that, chances are they'll be able to get better business. More money means more access, more business in general. It's just a matter of making sure that it stays controlled and under wraps. Police. That's right. In all honesty, I'm hoping I can weasel in some other indications with the police, some sort of oversight. Maybe I can convince Amber to do that for me. You know, since she's been requested that. But regardless, Urien set me up with an opportunity here. I don't intend to waste this. I plan to see this out, and I plan to see it good.
Indeed. Urien, with the news of the different things that are going on recently, what are your thoughts?
Let's see here. The barons have come together. Benji will be there. I must be there to assist. However, there are two complications. One, well, three, truthfully. One, Father Trent. I am sure he is the reason that my flock is now fearful of their mortal soul. Clearly, his ratings must be going up. This TV evangelical coming into my black masses to proselytize. Do I show up in his churches to do the same? There are certain bits of professional courtesy. But no, he decided to invade my flock and diminish them. I must bring them back into the fold. But that is difficult given Deacon, the policeman who is currently watching for me. It would seem that he was contacted through another individual in the authorities in Dallas, and now I am a suspect of some sort. I am sure that leads me into the third problem, the Camarilla. The Camarilla, the whole reason that this gathering is happening, the catalyst for having the barons meet. I have no doubt the Childer Kyle Calhoun will be coming. Perhaps this is their kind trying to scout the area, trying to understand what they're coming into. It wouldn't surprise me. However, the complications between the detective and the father. I am finding myself a little overwhelmed. Still, the problems of the domain go above my own. So, I am placing some things in, well, let's just say I am trying to end up using what I can to mitigate the problem, or at least give me some insight into it.
You've definitely got a lot on your plate. Lots of different things coming in and disrupting your daily life. All three of your daily lives, really. And that is where we begin this night. The three of you You wake and meet. Is there anything that you would like to do before you head off to your meeting early this evening to meet the barons, aside from rousing yourself to wake?
Honestly, tonight, I need to hit up my herd.
Benji, also rouse
Tonight's
me
a
a
hunt.
rouse. There we go. All three of you. You wake to the sound of
Captain,
your beast.
I should mention,
Yes.
I'm at 5 hunger.
Oh.
Oh no!
Your beast is loud. It is vicious. And every face that you see when you wake will look exactly like you should sink your teeth into it. Amber, what's your hunger level?
I'm at hunger 3.
And Urien?
3.
We have some very hungry kindred in our midst today.
Perhaps a sacrifice is warranted.
Perhaps.
Cat, that's my microphone.
So the three of you wake, hungrier than you were last night. Possibly even a little agitated in that regard. And when you come down...
Off.
No, go ahead.
Agitated is an understatement. Benji awakes. He throws his door open and there's no one out there yet. There's so much fucking anger in him right now. The stress, the fucking anxiety. Fucking barons. All this baron shit, all this baron talk. Kindred, other vampires telling him what to do and shit. Fuck. Whatever. Let's get this fucking show on the road already.
You hear a voice call up after you slam your door open. Randolph calls up and says, "Everything okay up there?"
Going great, old man. Fucking fantastic.
Let's eat him. Let's rip him to pieces. Bathe in his blood. Let's do it. Right now.
I ain't about starting fights. Fucking my clothes.
Ain't about fights, it's about food. He's food.
Piss off.
If you don't get some blood in you right now, we're not going to make it through tonight, and you know that.
I'll get there. We'll fucking get there. I make my way over to Amber's door and give it a quick knock.
There's a yes on the other side of the door.
You up and at it yet, princess?
Doing makeup.
Fucking. And now I make my way to Urien's store. And I also give it a quick knock.
Seems strangely appropriate given how you've woken up today, Urien.
That's all you hear.
Benji, you see
Teach
that...
you to eat my microphone.
Benji, you see that M comes out of her room. Is everything okay?
Oh, what? You're still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going great. How about you go hide again?
She takes a step back and closes the door, keeping an eye on you.
Hey, Urien. Today's the big day.
I understand that. He opens the door. You can see that he is dressed appropriately, though he seems to be combing his hair a little bit aggressively, suffice it to say. He starts to walk a little bit of speed. He puts on this what do they call it? PDR, something like that. He plays the broadcast from last night, or this morning, the latest of other trends. On occasion, he catches up. It's always good to keep an eye on your enemy. He's stewing for a moment as he watches. Oh, go ahead.
And the same as always, his very charismatic nature is riling the entire crowd up on this episode.
Well, we'll see on what if your goat will save you. Alright. Benji, since I could hear the banging from my own slumber, I am assuming something has you upset.
Maybe. I mean, not any more than usual, but also so much more than usual. I don't know.
Make it brief and let your thoughts be known.
Well, if I'm gonna be honest, right now, you look like a fucking snack, and not in the way that I want. I would want anyone to. Fuck that.
Eat the
That
Kemi,
sounded.
sack of shit.
God, that sounded so much scared than I thought it would.
Kind of tilts his head to you. You're welcome to try, if you believe you could.
I don't think I can.
A wise decision. But if that is of concern, I think we could settle 2 in one front.
Wait, what? Huh?
I need a problem solved, you need a problem solved. I think we can do it and do it quickly.
Yeah.
You said that you needed to feed. I believe if it is time, I can have a small amount given of my own collection, of my own stock. I offer freely to you. I need you at your best, Benji. I do not need you succumbing to your darker impulses. I need Benji, not a monster.
Alright. Take it away, Captain.
I'll give you the address. Hannah has me concerned. She, to my understanding, my offer still is genuine. She is a member of my herd. A small drop in the bucket, but nevertheless, some rumors are circulating, and a few of my own gathering have left the flock. Perhaps you can get some knowledge out of her and be able to end up sustaining yourself. Remove a small amount of vitae from her veins as reward for a simple question. Find out why they're leaving and what has compelled them to suddenly believe in their immortal soul. Once you have done this, you will be fed, I will have answers. If you wish, take a moment to end up doing some quick hunting, and then prepare yourself. I do not need you hunger right now.
Alright.
Will that appease you?
Perfectly.
Fantastic.
After Urien's written down the address, I go ahead and take it. See myself out the door. As I'm walking out, I slam it. I don't really have a lot of control over that.
Well, that is unfortunate.
This will be when Amber walks out of her room after having finished her makeup, kind of looking towards the front door, like in the general direction of the front door, and she's like, "What crawled up his ass and died?"
Himself.
Ah,
It is what happens when we hunger. Not all of us have the privilege of simply bleeding from every orifice, yeah, like some Taiwanese hooker.
Amber just turns and looks to Urien like, "Fucking hell, dude! That's oh, oh, that is not a pleasant thought." Like if he's going out to do that, I might pop out quickly as well. Whilst I'm not at that level, it's better that I am, as you said, at my best.
Yes, of course, I forget myself at times.
No, it's fine. Fine.
No, it is not. I should not speak in such tones, even for you. You are deserved of my respect, even, well, even right now. I understand his impatience, and your own. My own, yeah. I find my nerves currently frayed.
Is something going on?
I sent Benji out to feed upon my herd. But my herd is shrinking. It is not something I care to admit. However, as it stands, I believe one Father Trent may be involved. And Father Tyson Trent has made it very clear that he is concerned for my flock and their immortal souls. As though he could offer the secrets that would save them from death. Now, they end up fleeing. Weekend warriors. Those who do not appreciate the gifts I have offered them and the insight I have brought. No. Right now, I find myself angered. I find myself frustrated. I find myself furious. And I am trying to maintain an air of calm. truth is that if this man starts to take from me, he starts to take from all of us. He takes blood. By his very words, he steals the blood that belongs to us. And doing so weakens our position, making us more vulnerable to the Camarilla and the Barons and even the other kind.
As Urien is talking, Amber very gently places a hand on Urien's shoulder and nods. She's like, I understand perfectly, Mr. Doyle.
And I must choose to act soon. But I cannot dismiss this moment for Benji. He must, what is the term, get in good with the Barons. And because of that, I cannot afford to end up missing this meeting. And I do not have the... Oh, what is the word? I do not have the people. I do not have the money. I do not have the enforcers. I do not have the allies to be able to handle this with a simple word as it should be. And instead I am left to squabble and scrape and try and end up finding a way to end up making this all work. And all I end up getting is children slamming doors as though they were still in cribs. And all I end up seeing is individuals who are constantly stealing from this domain. And I am never quick enough to catch them all. Not one of them has approached me for permission. No, I constantly catch them. Constant. And I will have to end up catching them more and more. It is a lack of respect on their part. One that
One you
stops.
deserve.
Ones that I deserve. Did I not try to make a domain that was fair? Did I not make sure that it was stocked with the hair kind so that it would be easy enough to feed from? With nothing more than the asking of permission. Giving due respect, that is all that was required. And instead, I get poachers. And Ember, I am so sorry. You are catching me at a trying time.
It is quite fine, Mr. Doyle.
It
You
is
all can
unbecoming of me. And undeserved for one so young.
This time, as you said, I caught you at a trying time. It would not do well for either of us, or Benji, to not voice our concerns when they need to be voiced. You are correct, you have tried to be fair. But in this world, there are people who will take and take and take simply as it is offered to them with no thought of what they might have to give in return. But I would thank you for bringing Father Trent to my attention. You asked me to look out for that detective, and I will add him to my list. This is your domain. You have taken me under your wing, and as such, if I do not pull my weight to defend it, then what good am I?
You would do this of your own accord, in support of the domain.
I would.
I did not wish to ask anything further of you until you have dealt with the detective. have not assessed your skills as of yet, and so I would not burden you. It is on my shoulders to keep this all together. And now I find that to my shame, I'm finding myself to be more and more inadequate, more antiquated. And that builds a rage in me that I cannot express in words. The truth is that in all my years, I do not think I have felt this small in a long time.
I, I can't say that I've been around enough to understand how you feel, but I can, as much as it sounds like a misnomer for us, I can empathize at least a little. But no, I offer these services to you off of my own back because I believe that you are not only deserving of the assistance, but also because, as you said, they have taken from us. It's not just you, they've taken it from us. And one thing that I found that I really don't like is when people take my things.
Then I will leave the matter in your hands for the time being.
I
And
will find out what I can.
consider it your own burden to bear. I will assist as is required and as you request, so long as it's in my power. But know that this meeting must continue. Feed, rejoin me and Benji for the meeting, and ruminate on what can be done. I will. I have to go and make a few phone calls.
Of course, I will rejoin you when it is time, Mr. Doyle. And she will give him a small bow and head out herself to get a quick bite to eat.
With both Benji and Amber having left for the moment, Urien, you said that you wanted to make a few phone calls, but there is someone at the top of the steps that is just kind of on looking for a moment.
I look up to the stairs.
Things are getting crazy, huh?
It is a small matter. Do not worry yourself.
Do you need anything?
I feel that question unto itself has become a trap. The thing I need most is the thing I can never have. My beloved M. I can never have a gain that I've lost. And instead I find myself what does it mean when the shepherd of hell himself is lost? did they accidentally wander into heaven? Or perhaps just the ass end of hell? I do not know which. But I do know this. I have very little to give. From a child's perspective, it would seem that I have so much. But the truth is that I am at my limit. And I said I would do everything to help grow and nurture each child that are under my protection. And yet, at this exact moment, I do not think I could save myself even if I wanted to. And I think that's the worst part. I think there is a small part of me that no longer wishes to. Feel my mind being awash with nonsense. And I find a fury in me. One that has never died, but stayed like embers. And like the fall leaves have come, and now it erupts again, consuming the forest whole. Have I gone mad?
People do that sometimes.
We're not people anymore, Em.
Well, semantics.
Where are you, my Liana? Where are you?
You feel lost because you don't have an advisor. You don't have advice.
That is part of it. You see, I once had very dear friends. Liliana, Galvin. They were... Liliana was always there to help show the way. If I ever lost sight of what I did or who I was, she would be there to remind. And if I ever faltered, I knew Galvin would be able to grab hold of me, shake me back to my senses, give me back my spine. And I, in turn, aided them, making Galvin a force to be reckoned with, making sure my Lilian would never be touched again. Now they're gone. And you do not understand this yet, Em. But true friendship, such as it is with us, is such a rare commodity. To hold on to it for centuries without it turning to spoiled milk is like watching coal turn to diamond of its own volition. And now I find myself trying to guide children that is all I can do. Feel so small. Right now I am so small.
Everyone starts somewhere. I feel really, really small. Even compared to you. And I know that we have a really big problem that we have to deal with. But we take it one day at a time.
Yes. I suppose that's half the problem. Thinking in terms of days is still something I am getting used to. And
Are you really that old?
of course not. Of course not. I'm simply speculating.
Yeah, she definitely does not. She definitely is gonna take a look at you and see if you're lying. Where did her sheet go? Give me 2 seconds. You're lying to me.
That is how distracted I am that I cannot get away with it.
Then get undistracted.
To do so would require quite a heavy task. And I will keep you safe. In order to do that, I must amass so much more. So much more than I have. So much more than I am. Feel like my skin is like shackles. It's too small. It doesn't fit right. It is not strength of steel. And I feel like my mind is a fog. And I am too concerned with the
You're
child or
too concerned
that I
with too many things. Focus on one.
to do so would be to give up something else. And more dangerously. Well, let's just say that I am not expecting this to go well. You will stay here. I will make this work somehow. He turns off the TV as it's starting to focus in on Father Trent. I will not be dissuaded. Not until I make this right. I need to make this right. And I am so weak. So small.
Are you still thinking about dressed yourself? You're not the only one who's got things that they can do. What do you need from me?
He considers the offer. Thinks about him.
And she just stares you in the eyes.
Jameson will inevitably crash the party. He will not come alone. While his goons will try and cover his tracks, I have no doubt. I need to know who his muscle is, who is it he's bringing for backup. He will be bringing those closest to him, that they will not betray him. I need to know who those kindred are, where they sleep, and I need it to be ready. Everything you can find of them. Use your visions, use your gifts, and find me those who support Baron Jameson. Let us know. Let us make him know what it feels like to be small.
I can do so right now.
Fantastic. I will guide you, and then I must make some phone calls real quick. We have to prepare. It is a big night, and I need to end up being one step ahead of this game. I need to know. I need my Liliana.
She just kind of, having come down the stairs during this conversation, she just kind of, you're in your tailored suit and you're kind of frustrated. She kind of takes your tie and straightens it.
And like that, he stops seeing him for a moment. It's like the first night when she did such things. Maybe Urien's confused. Flashing back. Maybe. He nods to her.
That's better.
The trembling hand grasps hers. I need to rebuild my strength. I cannot let Benji know how weak I am. I cannot allow Ember to end up believing me anything other than steel. You are the only one who knows how fragile this figure before you actually is.
Then it's our little secret. And she goes over to the couch to kind of sit down, take in a couple of breaths, and begin a premonition.
I will assist however I can. I do. Would you willingly allow me to spend the willpower to give her a chance at rerolling?
Sure, I'll allow that. She's got a crit on 4 successes right now.
5.
Oh yeah, five successes with a crit.
But I need absolute clarity.
All right.
Absolute.
Perfect. Let's see. Ooh.
7 successes. At that point, I might as well have their mailing addresses too.
She sits for a moment and starts spouting off names. Kenneth Banks, A military man who oversees a lot of the military ongoings. And she gives you a couple of likely spots that she thinks that would be his abode. And second one, Marjani Kalu. Secretive, strong, quiet. The muscle. And also gives you a little bit into their local their haunting places. A snake. That one's a snake.
A snake? How do you mean?
A serpent, a tempter, a...
Setite.
Banks is... He's... Bruja. But he's not strong like Benji. He's a people person.
This is Snake?
No, that's the Bruja.
Okay. So, didn't get a name on that one.
Marjani Kalu is the snake.
Okay. Okay. Secret, quiet, strong. Okay. Who's the third?
A haunt.
Who's Haunt?
Ugly.
Yes, of course.
He's connected to the police. But also the black market. Doesn't like Batista. Rascal.
Rascal.
Sneaky bugger.
Yes, no doubt.
And she gives you a couple of his usual hiding spots.
Fantastic.
And then she opens her eyes, kind of looks a little exhausted, a little hungrier than she was.
I am. Oh, I am. My beautiful him.
She just kind of blinks as she's coming back.
Kenneth. Marjani. Rascal. These are my enemies. Cut them out. Root them. Yes. Yes, I know what to do. I know what to do.
Then do it.
He places a hand on her shoulder. I must continue. My precious M. I will make sure that when this is all over, No one will ever seek you out again. Stay safe. Keep the old man safe.
Will do.
You are my shepherd. To know that Beelzebub wears such a face. Urien grabs his coat and gets ready to head out. He's gotta organize some things first. Hopefully Benji and Ember will be back beforehand.
Speaking of which, Benji, you're out on the streets, heading towards a location of an individual from Urien's flock.
That's right. What was the name again?
Don't worry about it. It's a name I pulled out and I lost myself a minute.
Who
Alright.
your beast kind of answers back, who really cares? They're a snack. You've got their address. Drink them dry. Call it a night. Or that
Shit.
one on the street looks real nice too. Can we have that one?
Oh my god. Fucking patience. Patience. That's what I'm trying for. Alright. I roll on up to the location. Double check to see if the light's on or anything like that.
High or low?
We'll go low.
The lights are off. You get the sneaking suspicion that maybe they're asleep.
Hopefully. Fuck it. Midnight call. I go ahead and lock the car as I head out. Double check, make sure there's anything particularly suspicious around. I seem to have attracted the wrong kind of fans lately. Fuck. You want to know what sounds good right now?
What?
What are you thinking about?
Bet I got an idea. What'd you tell me?
There's that invisible bitch, Rascal.
What about him? He was a pansy-ass motherfucker.
Yeah, he was. I was thinking about that feeling. You know what happened? And I fucking pushed him down and his arm snapped like a goddamn twig. Oh my god.
Let's do it again.
Maybe I'll get the chance tonight. First, I gotta make sure I'm not gonna lose my fucking shit.
I mean, you always could.
I wanna make sure it's timed.
Oh, where's the fun in that?
It's about the entrance. The stage. The spectacle of it all.
Always the spectacle with you.
Fuck. Anyways. Let's just go talk to this bitch, get it done with.
And so what do you do?
I go up and knock the door pretty simply. Keep it casual. Wait for an answer.
You wait a moment. No answer.
You've got to be kidding me. I knock again, this time louder. If there's a doorbell, I ring that too.
You hear some shuffling inside. And after a moment, the door opens and a woman stands there, kind of bleary-eyed. But the latch to the apartment door is still connected to the door frame as she looks onto you, having turned the light on inside. Yes. Who are you?
Hi there. My name is Big B.
Big.
I
Okay.
yes, that's correct. I work with what does Urien's church go by again? Out of out of character.
What was what?
What does Urien's church go by again?
Ah,
Does it have a name?
ah. Hmm. Well, he would be part of the congregation of Beelzebub.
Uh, I'm a missionary for the congregation of Beelzebub. Nice to meet you. He holds out his hand for a handshake.
And she takes your hand and stops for a minute. Why is your hand cold?
Oh, you know, it's been a awfully cold night, honestly. I mean, it seems warm, but once you get to driving around and stuff like that, put your hand out the window, air, that kind of stuff. No big deal.
Okay.
Yeah. If I might ask, ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
as a missionary, I just wanted to do a public check-in with you,
This late?
if you don't mind a conversation.
Right this second, I'm not taking missionaries.
Well, I have to make a mention. Are you aware of, do you know your pastor?
Pastor who? There's lots of pastors in this town.
Pastor Doyle.
Right. I'm gonna hire low myself. I haven't been to one of his gatherings yet. No.
I was hoping I could formally invite you, you see. He was very, very keen on anticipating your arrival, and I just wanted to make sure that we had full disclosure.
Uh-huh. Um, well, I had an interest, but I'm gonna have to pass. Personal reasons.
Benji puts his foot in the door.
What?
And holds the door frame.
What? What?
I insist, ma'am.
I insist you leave. You're no longer welcome. Please leave.
All right. Could I ask some questions instead?
I'm gonna have to bid you good night. Good night. And she goes to close the door.
Benji stands outside the door for a second.
She closes it and locks the deadbolt. Turns off the lights. And you don't hear anything else.
God damn it. You know, if it wasn't for the fact that this was Urien's, Benji looks around the neighborhood and the area. What kind of neighborhood is this?
It's still in your own domain, probably closer to one of the northern edges. Not that you have a very large domain, but it's in an apartment complex near there. Relatively close to the aquarium, actually.
Aquarium. Sure. Why not?
Actually, I would like you to make me a frenzy check.
A frenzy check.
A fury frenzy.
Oh no.
Her stepping up to you is making you...
How dare the rest of you mention anything in the fucking coterie chat?
I'm not even looking at the coterie chat.
Alright.
She made you upset.
How do I roll a Fury of Frenzy?
So at the bottom of the sheet, there is the frenzy
I know
button.
where it... Yeah, I know where it is.
So, because you're Bruja, you're at a -1 for that dice pool.
It says willpower.
Willpower is your total unspent. And you recovered
No.
willpower at the beginning of the session, equal to either your composure or your resolve, whichever's higher.
Oh. You know, that's what I've been forgetting.
So if you have no spent willpower, then you will have a full track of that. And then the humanity it asks for is your humanity score. So your total humanity. And then modifier is going to be -1. Because Bruja.
Hold your breath.
Your beast is upset. And when she goes to close the door, she does and locks the deadbolt. But you're not having any of this. You start banging on the door again. You start banging and banging until the door swings wide open. And she's there, afraid. And you have no control over yourself right now, so you're going to unless you spend a willpower or roll another frenzy check, you are going to sink your teeth into her.
Well... You know?
Or you can ride
Go-
the wave.
Ah, God.
Can let it happen.
Oh, willpower. How do I do this?
So you're going you can either spend a willpower, which is a superficial willpower damage, to regain control of yourself for a turn, or you can roll another frenzy check to see if you can manage it by yourself.
Alright, I'll roll another frenzy check.
You're still at a -1. You're still very angry with her.
Willpower? I don't fucking know. I don't have enough conviction as a player to not do. Fuck it. Ride the wave.
You ride the wave.
We'll take... I'll go ahead and try to stop myself at a point.
So you rush in, and with all of your might, you jump forward and you pin her to the ground. You rip her, you it feels like her head's gonna rip right off, and you wring her neck back and you sink your teeth in. 6 seconds. 12 seconds pass.
I take only about 2 dots worth, and now I'm gonna try and willpower my way out.
So you're gonna spend a willpower to regain control of yourself for that next turn.
Yep.
Okay. You regain control of yourself, but it's only for a moment, and you know that. What do you do? The door's busted in. She saw you lunge at her. She saw you sink your teeth in.
Benji activates, goes ahead and uses Daunt really quick and just says, really simply, oh, wait, actually, when I sink my teeth in her, can I activate Hiss? Is that a thing I can do?
Technically in control.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I use that on her.
Okay.
And when Benji pulls out, he just basically holds her head and he says, if you leave, you don't know what in all of heaven or hell's name you're missing.
She's kind of dazed in that moment. You get the sense that she heard you.
All right.
But you know
Okay.
that you're hanging on by threads. Your beast is scratching at the bottom of your gut still.
Okay, Benji dips.
And you dash out the door.
Dash out the door, as I'm doing that, I throw on my bandana, hood up. At this point, I should just probably get rid of my license plate on my vehicle, but I start my car and I just drive away. And I try not to bust the gas on that.
And your foot hits the gas pretty hard. You start peeling out. And you're far enough away and have slaked enough hunger that you are able to maintain a bit of control over yourself at this point, but you're still very hungry and you still want more. And you just lunged at a woman, bit her neck, looked like she was in pain, and have left her there.
Fuck. I have done nothing to help the situation. Fuck. Fuck. Fuck! As soon as Benji gets the chance, he pulls to the side. He just holds the wheel. Turns off the car and just sits there. Fuck! God. Fucking. Should have just busted someone's ass in the middle of the street or some shit. Fuck. He looks at the address Urien gave him earlier on the paper. He just crumbles it up. This is gonna get us all kinds of fucked up. Damn it. How am I gonna fix this? know how. I know how.
What does Benji intend to do?
It's not something he can do now, but it's gonna have to be something he works against. Or maybe works with. Shit. There's a devil in San Antonio. Benji's starting to think it's not Urien any more than it is himself.
The devil inside certainly got the better of you today.
Whatever. I'll just fucking go take it out on something else later. Benji decides to head back to the coterie house.
And head back you do. We're gonna switch over to Amber. Amber, you were going out to find a little morsel of your own tonight.
Yes.
Were you planning on taking advantage of your herd, or were you going to go stake something out?
I can't take advantage of my herd as I had to do that last session.
Okay.
So I will be staking it out.
Okay, dokie.
Yeah, no, I had to drink both dots from my herd that were available because stigmata. Fun. So no, I'm staking something out tonight.
All right. So go ahead and roll me a hunting roll.
Yes. Now, my hunting roll. I am an Osiris, so I believe, but not that one. That one. It's manipulation subterfuge.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that for me.
No modifiers for hunting rolls?
Nope.
It's 4 successes.
4 successes. 4 successes will do it because you're.
We'll do it. Yeah.
Your chase and your availability to feed is just that good, thanks to Mr. Doyle's reputation. So I'm going to quickly roll to see if there's a residence. Nothing that sticks.
That's alright. At this point, it's not about the particular residence, it's just blood.
Was there anything else that you were getting up to for the moment?
Nope, it was just go out, get something to eat, go back to the coterie house, very quickly fix up, and go to the meeting. So that hunting roll, I'm able to slake 2 hunger from that, yes?
Yes.
Or is it just, yeah, alright, so I will do that. And then it'll just be straight back to the coterie house to get ready for this meeting.
Alright. So, was there anything else that you guys would like to do before we take our quick break?
Just some. It can be off-camera phone calls. So I think it's pretty clear what I'm going to be doing with Levy.
Okay.
So.
Then why don't we take a quick 5-10 minute break, and when we come back, we will see just what happens with the meeting between Baron Batista and Baron Delgado. Don't go anywhere, anyone. Welcome back, everyone, to San Antonio by Night, episode 5, in which we are joining our coterie at the Tower of Americas. When you arrive, you notice that there's not any cars out in the parking lot. Hardly at all. There's very few in the way of people here. And when you go onto the elevator, you are immediately met by Jaden, the known ghoul for Baron Batista, and he greets you warmly.
Evening. What was your name again? I'm sorry, I've been all over the place.
Jaden.
Jaden. Nice to meet you, Jaden.
Jaden McCall.
It is a pleasure to remake your acquaintance, Jaden McCall. Sir, I would hope that we have been expected and to end up seeing the Lady of the Tower.
You are, and she awaits your arrival.
She is lucky to have you on staff.
You flatter me, sir.
I am honest about you.
That being said, is the honored guest arriving with you or separately?
You will be arriving shortly.
Shall we wait for him, or would you like to go up and meet Lady Batista yourselves first?
We will wait for him down here, or here first.
As you wish. And he excuses himself to give you a little bit of an air of privacy, even though he's not going very far. And unless there's a conversation to be had, Baron Delgado will be arriving shortly.
Urien. I don't know much about these scenes, so...
Then it is best to be keeping your mouth shut and your ears and eyes open. Your role here is that of a bodyguard, so keep Baron Delgado safe, and be sure to end up keeping in between unless he allows a person to approach.
Can do.
Water. It will follow his example. Do not threaten, simply allow your physicality to be known.
I can do that just fine.
Excellent. Amber, as much as I know you are loath for the position, try to end up making Baron Delgado comfortable. It is best that he is seen in a positive light, and you shall be the spotlight for him. Not that he needs much assistance in that, but nevertheless.
Of course.
And seeing as how the three of you are also dressed to the nines in well-tailored suits thanks to Amber's generosity, you don't look out of place. And shortly after all of you arrive, there's a limousine that pulls up through the lot, and outside of it, the driver exits the vehicle and opens a door, and Baron Delgado steps out. The driver gets back in the car, drives away, and Delgado enters the building.
I stay behind him, but following within decent distance.
And he does greet the lot of you.
It is good to end up seeing you again, Baron Delgado.
And you as well, Mr. Doyle. Miss Dupree. Mr. Cortez.
Baron Delgado, and she bows.
Good to see you again, Baron Delgado.
And it's about that moment that Jaden comes back and realizes that Delgado has arrived and motions for the four of you to enter the elevator with him behind you and serves as the operator of the elevator in that moment. And it's a fairly long 10-minute climb up the elevator if you wish to have a conversation.
I offer to take Baron Delgado's coat and keep with the amenities. I am, after all, a servant of his domain.
And politely, he gives it to you to hold. And otherwise, the ride is silent. He doesn't really make much in the way of conversation in this moment.
I keep silent. We are merely spectators in this duel for now. And we will find our opportunity. But, well...
And the elevator stops at the top, and it opens up into the restaurant. But the restaurant is mostly empty. There is very few in the way of people here, and the people who are here are simply standing and waiting. Kitchen staff, wait staff, but all just kind of standing there waiting to serve. And in the midst of them, you do see Baron Batista and a couple of others as well. Also dressed fabulously, as one would expect for this kind of event. And when Baron Delgado approaches, Baron Batista offers a hand to shake. They greet each other, and after a moment, take a seat at a table.
I observe the two that are at Batista's side. I give her a honorary bow. I would expect the others to do the same following suit. And then I look to our counterparts. Are they known to me?
Roll me two separate wits plus to politics. The first one for Albert, the second one for Dryden. A couple of things that you know about the older-looking individual. He is a man who goes by the name of Albert Carlson. He is a native to San Antonio. He is he's not very old by kindred standards, but you would know that he is the child of Batista.
Fascinating.
For Dren, you understand that their name is Dren Shahi. Toreador, also a young neonate, um, who happens to be uh, who happens to specialize in the auto industry.
Fantastic. I do not. I'm pretty sure that we will be mirrors of each other, staying silent as the delineations between the parents continue. Lest there is a moment where we should intercede, I will allow this to grow naturally. More concerned as I keep an eye on the door and the windows. There is a small part of me that is expecting an RPG rocket. I guess that would be me saying the rocket twice, technically. Coming through the window.
Jaden has excused himself to speak with the staff for a moment, and then goes back to the elevator to more to the host station to do some of the more mundane duties of the day. But still keeps an eye out for as the two barons take a seat at a small table, really only large enough for the two of them, and Delgado and Batista start to speak, still very quietly. But what bits and pieces you do over here, if you're not using any kind of heightened senses of any kinds, they keywords, Camarilla. They start to exchange some names. Both of them keeping very cool, very calm. Playing very, very close to their chests in this moment. Tensions do start to get a little high at the mention of Camarilla between each other, as the heckles would be raised on anyone overhearing that.
I'm maintaining composure. The Camarilla is truly a concern, especially with recent events, but will not intercede until it is time. I also keep an eye on Albert and Trent, not out of suspicion, but more of mutual respect, as we are all guarding the better interests of the city.
Both of them are standing a little ways away from the table where the barons sit, their arms crossed behind their back, observing you in return. A few moments go by. I would like the three of you to make a wits plus awareness for me.
I will be using Sense the Unseen.
Okay. That is a separate roll.
Yep. So I will roll the original. How much I can do there. And we will do... Oh, that should be with a +1. Please don't be a 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna willpower those two dice. Whoa! Much better! Much, much better. That's a critical success.
Ooh, well, hello. Hang on. 2 seconds.
Normal success, just really good.
Urien, you're not seeing anyone that's going undetected by any other person. Amber, you hear across the restaurant where the maitre d's podium is. You hear a, "I'm sorry, can I help you?" And another voice saying, "We are guests here." And Jaden, what you know to be Jaden's voice, says, "I'm sorry, you're not on the guest list. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." What do you do?
Amber is going to look to both Albert and Dren basically with an intensity to get their attention, and then her eyes she makes a little head gesture over to the basically where the elevator is in the maitre d' podium, and mouths, "We have company."
You're up, Benji. I will follow your lead. Ember, stay behind with Delgado. And Urien kind of steps with Benji, maybe making it clear that Benji's taking the lead on this one, and would guide them to step between the commotion and the barons.
Benji makes a point as well, stepping between the two in the middle of the room, but he looks around, he can't see anything. He gestures to Urien. "What am I looking at? What?"
Give it time.
Sorry, go ahead.
Trust in Ember's senses.
Benji looks to Amber for confirmation.
And Amber would gesture towards the maitre d', the maitre d' podium, and would mouth to Benji, "There's company coming," and then she's going to move a little bit closer to Baron Delgado, enough that she can move to his defense if things get super rowdy.
All right.
You hear a third voice say, "Step aside." And for a moment, you see that Jaden steps aside, and what you see on the other side of him is a long bearded man. And behind that person is another chiseled jaw with a short beard. Both seem to be dressed for the occasion. And the third individual you see walking past Jaden is a dark-complected woman. And the graying-haired man just kind of opens his arms towards the barons, hand palms open, and says, "Mind if I join?" Delgado and Batista just look towards each other and just slowly nod.
Step aside, Benji, but keep an eye out.
Benji does so, but he remains close to Delgado, just right behind him.
Urien follows Benji in this.
Urien, roll me another wits plus Auspex.
Auspex?
Yep.
I will willpower that.
The third person you see behind Baron Jameson is an unseen individual. Kind of wormy looking Nosferatu.
Before everything would commence, Baron Delgado, might I make a request?
Yes, Urien.
He stands, turns. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present to you Baron Jameson, well, Kenneth Banks, Mr. Kenneth Banks, Mr. here, Kalu, and of course, Rascal. Rascal, it would be considered extremely rude in present company to be using such gifts. Surely you are not trying to show a level of disrespect in current company.
Rascal seems to fade into view.
Benji's heckles raise and his jaw clenches, but he remains still.
Well,
He locks eyes with Rascal. And he glares.
nice to see you too, Big B, Rascal says. Jameson looks over to Benji. So that's Big B.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. The name's Victor Jameson. Baron of the south side of the city. And it seems that I was not invited to this little gathering. Maybe the invitation got lost in the mail. And Delgado just kind of looks at Jameson and says, "Well, you are present now. Please, join us." And Jameson takes a chair from one of the other tables and pulls it up to the table where the other two are sitting and takes a seat. And joins in the conversation. And for quite a while, the tension is very high. It's palpable in the room. Albert is standing with his hands on his hips. He looks as if he is ready to pull something from his side if he decides that the need is there. But Kenneth and Marjani just kind of stand behind Jameson, and Rascal kind of moseys a little bit towards the rest of you.
I place myself between Benji and Rascal. Not obviously, just shifting myself, working the room. It's best to be between them and my charges unless necessary.
Since you are in front of Benji at this moment, he reaches out a hand for a handshake. Pleasure to meet you. What's your name?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm the devil. Didn't you hear?
The devil. The devil's got a name, doesn't he?
Several, in fact. The one I currently occupy is Urien Doyle.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Doyle.
I don't shake his hand. I look at him square in the eye. Though you might have to answer to your own better if you're not careful.
Not here to make trouble.
That is funny considering how you've been assisting the Camarilla.
Assisting the Camarilla. And what makes you say that?
Simply smile. Leave it at that. Now, please let us not spoil such a wonderful evening. We'll get to massacring each other's people. I've been thinking of all kinds of fun ways.
Yeah, I'm not...
To give you quite the show. I hope you'll find it entertaining.
Yeah, I know about you.
Apology.
So, Mr. Doyle, seems that Big B here has been messing with my shit.
Place. Oh, there you are.
What? Are we having issues with Discord?
Yeah, now you're having issues. Yeah, I just heard you break up. Come back.
Oh no! Okay. Rascal was asking you, was telling you Big B's been messing with his shit.
And that would not have happened if you didn't cross the line. You did.
How
You
so?
assaulted.
I've never been on Delgado's turf.
No, but you made sure your dealings were upon it. You did not seek out whose domain it was on, and at the very least offer a cut, or offer some form of respect. You have disrespected his domain. You have disrespected his barony. You have disrespected me. And in doing so, Benji here is going to start dismantling a lot of your little tidbits. And by the time he is done, you will come to me, playing for forgiveness. Because the truth is, and you and I both know this, that your little efforts will end up proving to be the end of you. Do not think we do not know about your contacts in Dallas.
My contacts in Dallas. Who the fuck do you think I know in Dallas?
Police.
Police.
Yes. Your ability in the police and your black market contacts means you are indispensable, and in doing so able to smuggle things underneath the radar while using the legal system to end up applying where it needs to be to off competition. But you allowed things to swerve in your full knowledge, in the hopes of causing damage to Baron Delgado's domain. You have allowed the Camarilla to pull the same trick that you have tried upon us. So, your failure to act has caused this meeting. I wonder how much Baron Jameson will appreciate knowing that it was you.
I wonder how much Baron Jameson or Baron Delgado or Baron Batista would appreciate the fact that you have a Camarilla spy amongst your own midst.
That is funny.
You think I don't know?
I'm actually going to insight that.
Okay.
This is not going to end well. Oh wow, I actually beat him. Oh no, wait, that's his instant passage.
Yep.
Still.
Well, this isn't the greatest dice pull for him.
I'm the insider.
Yep. You, upon looking at him, his face is hideous as it is, and Amber, upon looking at him, he is definitely a disgusting sight to behold.
Makes me want to puke.
He seems to be telling the truth. As far as he believes it.
That is funny.
What's funny?
Then shall we get all lights out in the open right now? I think that would be entertaining. We can walk out in the sun together. Hand in hand like old lovers.
You're joking,
See.
right?
No, most certainly I am not. If I were to be dissuaded by a pup like you, I wouldn't be the asset I am. So, make it very clear, Rascal. We're here playing by Chicago rules. You are familiar with Chicago rules, right?
Enlighten me.
You take from me, I break every arm in your command. You send one of mine to the hospital, I send 8 of yours to the morgue.
It doesn't have
That's
to be like that.
the Chicago. Oh, that is how it's going to be, because you have made it so.
And it's about that moment that that Kenneth decides to walk over to the conversation, seeing as it's getting a little bit heated from what he can tell. Now, there's no problem here, right?
disappointingly.
Mm.
But I have to say, Mr. Banks, you do quite good work amongst the military contacts I've heard Baron Jameson. He must rely on you quite heavily.
I like to think I'm good at my job.
Rascal here, however, gave me a very interesting piece of information.
Mm.
I thought you should know. I pull out a pen, write down something, and I hand it to him. I would suggest this would be in confidence.
You hand the pencil to whom?
I took out a pen,
Mm.
wrote down something on a napkin, handed it to him.
To Kenneth?
Yep.
And what does it say on it?
It's one of his addresses.
Then in confidence it shall stay.
I hope so. After all, I am concerned for what is about to transpire.
What is it you think is going to transpire?
He looks to the three barons in their discussions. War. And they fear too few are prepared for it or truly understand it. I think you're one of the few who might.
Then we let our leaders talk.
It was very difficult to get Baron Jameson to the table, but I'm glad it worked out.
Now see about that. He wasn't lying when he said he didn't receive an invitation.
I know, and he would have been suspicious if he did.
Well played.
Like I said, there are very few who are experienced in war. And Miss Kalu,
Yes.
to my understanding, you are quite the accomplished pugilist. Am I to understand this correctly?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean by pugilist.
The fisticuffs.
Ah. From time to time. Boxing, ring, and all that.
I am sure that our Benji would end up having the utmost respect for your capabilities. Though, let it not be said I have not given fair respect to all things involving ministry. He's kind of reading the room, seeing, like, are these three starting to get unnerved on how he seems to have an internal dossier of everybody in the room, while everybody else is still asking his name?
Heckles have been raised, and you can definitely see that in the room. There are the people who, the two who have made themselves known from Batista haven't really done anything to approach you as of yet.
Alright. I continue to listen in. I am waiting till a prompt would be to express how the Camarilla might know as much as they do.
After the barons have done a little bit of putting their own upsets at ease, at least on the outside, you do have Baron Delgado asked that question, why, I'm curious, would they be coming here of all places?
Baron Delgado, if I might end up posing an answer to that.
Please. You see that Jameson kind of leans back in his chair and casually gazes at you. Batista's as cool as you've ever seen her. She has been this entire time, actually.
I applaud her effort for it. It is a complicated matter, but one that I will be open with. It is not one reason, but many that they come here. But I am aware of three. One, for those who do not know who I am, allow me to introduce myself. Urien Doyle, recently of Jackson. Kind of checks Kenneth to see if there's a bit of a reaction, if there's anybody who might have heard. It would be Kenneth in this room.
I am looking. I had all the sheets open and then I didn't.
You were fresh and they all closed.
Yes. Kenneth kind of thinks about it for a minute. You see him thinking about it. Yeah, I heard about what happened in Jackson.
It is true. And we are responsible for destroying that entire court. Dismantling it. Ripping them from their havens and from their sanctuaries. Placing them upon crucifixes and dragging them along streets by the throat with chains. Butchering them. Quite the spectacle. They are upset, and after the loss of many of my own gang, many of my elders in that regard, they are looking for survivors, particularly one Kyle A. Calhoun, descendant of Marius Calhoun, who has taken it as a personal vendetta. Of course, he would not come alone, so he has taken on several individuals from New York. They are wishing to end up getting their property back, a defector, one who has fled and broke free of the Camarilla, and I have now taken in my bosom, because we all deserve the same. And the third is thanks to the one in Baron Jameson's employ.
What now? Jameson says.
Yes, it is true. It was an ingenious plan, truthfully, and had I not uncovered it myself. Rascal, please take a bow. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Rascal pipes up. I didn't do shit.
Rascal, for the clarity, would you please explain to the barons exactly what it is you do?
I handle black market shit.
You doing so with the police?
Occasionally.
More than occasionally, you see. We know that the Camarilla are coming in from... Yeah, we know that the Camarilla, you see, are coming in from Dallas. And recently, Rascal had received word from Dallas, an investigation specifically here to worm me out. I knew that it was suspicious at first. After all, why would Dallas have any interest in me? But it started to make sense when I realized that it was Kyle A. Calhoun who started leading the charge. It was quite amusing. You see, unfortunately, dear Barons, he ended up having a particular thought, you see. If no one knew that this investigation was happening, then he could end up continuing on and benefiting from the Camarilla coming in. The Camarilla would be coming in, investigating through the police. See, they made a contact recently with a detective and trying to keep this a small investigation to not warrant too much information. We have a detective here, Deacon James Johnson. Detective Johnson was assigned to end up trying to find me. Now, the misstep in this plan, Skull, came down to when you took the bait. When Big B brilliantly decided that if your turf was suddenly threatened, you would see the opportunity for revenge and being able to end up opening a small bit of turf for yourself. Delgado and Batista would be unaware, too focused on the Camarilla to realize that your contacts would be shifting further into their domains. It was quite a brilliant scheme, you see. And you would have gotten away with it, absolutely no doubt. But you decided to end up dealing with the Camarilla, directly or indirectly, matters not. You, knowing full well that Dallas was primed to end up coming here. And either you have ended up telling Baron Jameson has said nothing, or Baron Jameson is ignorant to that my pardon, Baron, because you have kept him in the dark, and you have not served your barony to the standards of which it is held. You will find the evidence I speak if you were to end up looking into the contacts of this detective. You will find that he was contacted by the by Dallas Police Force. You will find the information you seek there, and you will end up noting that, well, dear Mr. Kenneth will end up attesting that I am from Jackson. Why would Dallas be reaching out to look for me, as I have never set foot in the city, unless Camarilla's involvement? Rascal tried to play you all for fools, and in doing so endangered us all to the Camarilla, to end up getting a small amount in the confusion.
Jameson looks to Rascal and looks to you. Alright, say I believe you.
At this point, he is upon the justice of his benefactor, Baron Jameson. At this point, Rascal and Big B, my dear Benji, have been going at it for a small time now. In a time we cannot afford to end up allowing further escalation. Do not allow this bit of squabbling to end up continuing. Have him removed. Show us a sign of peace that we can end up taking that. Place it under your own commands, by all means. Or offer an olive branch to your fellow barons in a time where right now, if we do not end up offering the olive branch, we will all be staked by it. Either way, we have a true traitor in our midst.
You seem to be real good at putting pieces together, Jameson says. I like that.
It wouldn't have worked if I can ask them to invite you here, dear Baron. Rascal had to believe that this was a slight against you. But I know that Baron Batista and Baron Delgado more need to be focused on the Camarilla. And I will admit, because of Rascal's involvement, I did suspect you. For that, I beg your forgiveness. I hope it is an understandable mistake, and that is why I end up coming you tonight. Now, with 3 barons, and the culprit standing in our midst.
Rascal just kind of looks to the room. I didn't do shit. I didn't do anything.
His guilt is not in his voice, but in the evidence left behind. Be it by hand or by negligence, either one cannot be held these nights. You either plotted this or happened to stumble into it through ineptitude. Either way, you now threaten Baron Jameson's domain with such things. There is no way
Johnson
that
is
you can
just
be
a
that
contact.
stupid. Hold up. Did he just say that out loud?
Yeah.
So you knew. You knew and you ignored. You allowed either your Baron to remain ignorant to it, or you ended up informing and Baron Jameson has done absolutely nothing. And I very much doubt Baron Jameson, who prides themselves upon military abilities, including surveillance, would end up remaining ignorant to such things. So, at this point, you are damned. And if this were Jackson, let us not mince words here. I would end up making you a warning to every kindred in this entire city on what we do to Camarilla.
Jameson gets up from his seat. I've heard enough. And let's see. Open up his sheet. Hang on. He stares Rascal in the face for a moment. You have been a problem for a while now, Rascal. And Rascal kind of backs away a little bit. I haven't done anything wrong. And Jameson just keeps walking towards him.
Benji, do not allow this one to escape his judgment. Justice is coming to San Antonio.
My barony, if I may.
Jameson just kind of looks at you, Benji.
Rascal has slighted me personally. If I may do the honor of enacting your will, I would appreciate it.
I like you, Big B. Jameson says. Be my guest.
Gladly.
And Rascal is looking to dart.
Oh, the fuck he is! Benji rapid reflexes over to him.
And what do you do?
What I always do. Benji fucking unloads on him.
And I'm gonna go after because rapid reflexes.
Alright, let's see. Brawl,
Yep, that'll be a strength brawl.
strength, and can I go ahead and use potence in this?
If you want to rouse for potence.
Oh, I would hope.
Oh,
I would hope.
Yes.
Let's rouse for potence. Let's be a hungry bitch for this. Benji's been waiting.
You're a hungry bitch.
I'm a hungry bitch, but I'm having fun.
Make him bleed.
Drain him dry. Yeah, roll me your strength brawl plus potence.
Alright. Alright. Oh no.
You got 8 successes on his 1, so he takes 7 points of superficial damage, half to 3.
Half to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Benji basically topples over on top of him. At this point, he feels bloodthirst. And there is not a single thing stopping the beast right now. I don't think you understand. I don't think anyone understands how fucking bad it was.
And Rascal is going to try and fight you off, but he's not going to be very successful at it.
I'm gonna take a bite into him. I'm gonna take slake some hunger, and then just keep fucking punching him in the face while we're down.
Okay. First off, I would like you to roll me a strength brawl and a -2 for.
Okay.
So it's a strength brawl plus potence -2 for a called shot on a bite.
And once your fangs are in, you don't need to worry about it from that point on. Now your fangs count as latching.
Yep.
Strength brawl plus my potence -2. That's just 0.
Okay. Roll it.
Meh. Meh.
And that's another 4. Actually, that's a 1 point of aggravated damage on him because you sink a bite in. He is still trying to get away, but Kenneth and Marjani are not doing anything, and Jameson's just watching.
It doesn't look like he can escape. I am going to simply wait. I'm holding my abilities back. I'm going to allow Benji to end up tackling this until it is needed.
Okay. So, Benji, you have slaked 1 hunger so far.
Okay.
Are you continuing?
Yep, going for another.
Okay. He doesn't have the dice pool to fend you off. So you can drink as much as you want. You can send him into torpor. You could diablerize him.
No rules against it in our community, and it.
Oh,
But
shit.
the question is, are you willing to end up being that right now?
Are you
in
willing
front of
to
all the
risk
parents?
a diablerie? What do you wish to do?
Take myself down to 1 hunger, and then Benji's gonna pull himself off of Rascal. And just fucking break his neck.
How many?
Tear it off.
How many hunger would take you down to 2? Down to 1.
Well, we've already done 1 and 2, and so 3.
So 3 more or 3 total?
Just 3 total.
Okay.
What a good time.
And then you let him go? as far as your bite goes?
I think
What?
Benji intends to sever his Rascal's head with the fangs.
Yeah, let's do that.
Then, again, roll me a strength ball and let's see if you can get 5 or more successes in order to sever his head clean off.
Strength brawl modifiers, yay or nay?
Potence.
Potence. Meh.
Well,
And with a final chomp, you bite into spinal column. The grip that you have with your jaw snaps his spinal column. It tears the spinal cord inside. It rips the flesh around his neck. It's vitae splattering all across the ground. And before long, Rascal begins to wither. And eventually, to dust. Rascal the Nosferatu is no more.
Benji slowly clambers up to his feet. He wipes off his face. He looks down at the tuxedo and he just sees all the vitae and blood and mess.
Urien continues to golf clap, as it were.
Amber would also clap at this.
Jameson kind of just cocks his head a little bit and looks over to Urien with a bit of a look. It's not one of disdain. It's not one of enjoyment. It's of, this guy's good. Too good. And you can see that plain as day on his face.
Urien simply lowers his head in gratitude. At the very least, now bitter Jameson understands the power under Delgado's control.
After a bit, Jaden comes back from the maitre d's podium and with a few of the staff begins to clean up the mess. Not paying the rest of you any mind.
At that point, I place, or I end up putting myself at Delgado's right side. Look to Ember, who should be on his left, and gesture to Benji. Stand tall behind your Baron. Let them see the results of betrayal. And let them know. He's kind of projecting this, if the look. Let them know who it is that stands as the muscle behind Delgado.
I look over to Urien and I know that face. Expectation. I gotcha. I'm content for now. And I can play the part. And I do precisely that. I stand behind Delgado, adjust the tie to my suit, and breathe out satisfaction. Fuck. That felt so fucking good.
And it's on that note that we will finish the session for tonight. With the barons discussing amongst themselves with their respective members of their barony at their side, determining what the fate of the Alamo City will be. Thank you all for playing. And thank you to the audience for watching. Take a breather, everyone.
I could cry.
I'm sorry, Lethality, that I didn't have as much to do with Amber on this one.
Oh no, that is honestly fine. I think, like, honestly, in fact, I think it was better that Amber was quiet for the simple fact of her presence there was the thing.
Yeah. But, yeah. Yeah, now you guys have a slight understanding of how far Urien can take this.
Yeah.
Did anybody see that coming? Who saw that coming?
I like how you connected all the dots.
I had an inkling that that was gonna happen, but honestly, I just have to give all the kudos. Like that was
That was so good.
That
That
was
was so
great.
fun.
And Benji just beating the shit out of Rascal.
Now, did I not end up promising you? Did I not promise you that you would have a chance at Rascal? Did I not promise you a chance to prove what you can do to the Barons? Did I not here promise you a chance to earn a stupid amount of respect amongst the entire kindred society of San Antonio?
I see what
Did
you
I
did
not
there.
promise these things?
Yeah, you did.
Did you expect me to do it all in one fell swoop?
Oh my god.
No, I think the only thing, if I had Amber say anything after Rascal got removed from the picture, I imagine the only thing Amber would say is like, "Pardon my frankness, but quite frankly, I'd call that an improvement."
I feel like, in a weird way, Benji's vampire cherry just got popped.
It did.
I don't know how else to put it, but like something. It's a changer. It's
It is a changer.
It's a game changer.
To be honest,
Can't wait to see how
Rascal
it plays
didn't
out.
stand a chance against you.
No, you didn't. And I'm happy about it.
Rascal
Yeah.
was a little bitch right to the end.
But here's the best part. You didn't have to hide this. You got permissions from the Barons and got to do it right in front of them.
Perfect. Just perfect.
So bravo,
So,
Derek.
I gotta ask, CoffeeCat,
Yes.
did I catch you? Did I catch you good?
We'll see.
No, I'm wondering, like, were you like, dear God, this is fucking brilliant?
That was a brilliant moment.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like, I want to make it sound like as if I planned this all from the get-go. That this has been Urien's plan the entire time.
You just pulled it out of your ass, like.
But dear God, no.
He was throwing shit at the wall and see if it stuck.
Well, what could he say? This is what I mean. Like this is political maneuvering, right? Trying to end up gain it, so it's like you have no win here. There's no need to roll dice because I don't need to convince anybody. I have laid out nothing but facts at this point, and now I'm putting everybody else's, Baron Jameson. Here's the thing: it might have been removing Rascal, but what it actually did was end up putting Jameson under Delgado and Batista. Because now he has to either claim, I knew this and said nothing, so I put the city at risk. I knew nothing, and I'm proven to be inept. Or, I'm going to have to end up making the play that everybody's going to like, regardless of if Rascal is guilty or not.
You put his balls in a vice. You put his balls in a vice and you turned the handle and squeezed them until they popped.
I'm sorry that I'm psyched. I don't mean to take away from Benji. I'm just really psyched by that play.
I love it. I love it. I loved everything about it. Everything about it
Yeah,
was
no,
so
it's great.
delicious, and I
Yeah.
approve wholeheartedly.
As do I.
Okay. And Benji, like, there was a part of me that wanted to just be a sarcastic ass. Are you sure you don't want to spend willpower just to get that one last die?
It might be a 10, that'll be 11 successes.
God.
9 did it because by the margin at which you would have won a contest, you would have sent him into torpor at the very least, and you were jumping, so
Oh God.
I'm
his
so
head
happy
come clean
for
off.
Benji.
Mm-hmm.
Goes from an absolute slam in the door failure to I'm king shit on cocaine.
He roids out for a minute.
Yeah, Royd's out.
Oh my
Um,
God. It was the best
would-
of nights. It was the worst of nights, but mostly the best of nights.
It's...
Now, I don't know that that counts as a kill to slake all of your hunger.
Oh,
it
no.
wouldn't.
That's
No.
why we're at 1 hunger.
But you have killed a rival. That much is clear.
I have.
And now the tables have turned. There's some maneuvering I have to do in my relationship web now.
Yes.
But that's for another day. We're going to get to some experience.
Yay!
Yay.
I would say that because this was such a pivotal moment for the entire coterie, that everyone gets 2 experience for showing up today.
Yay!
Yay.
And then we have the 3 categories by which you all vote amongst each other. The best scene, the person who moved the plot the furthest, and the best, most memorable line. So, who moved our plot?
Urien, obviously.
Urien.
Okay, I'm not even gonna deny that one. I will take it because it puts me at 66 experience. Praise, hail Satan.
Hail Satan. Does anyone else argue that?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Then it's unanimous. Urien, you will get yourself that plot mover. The best scene. Most of you were together in a scene for the most part.
Yeah.
I am not gonna lie. I'm gonna end up giving that one to Benji, specifically for Rascal. Like
It
everything
was-
might have been set up, but there's your climax right there.
Y'all don't understand how cathartic that was.
It's very climactic,
do.
very cathartic, yes.
I do.
Benji in my soul just like, ah.
If Amber had less composure, she would have been cackling at Benji beating the ever-loving shit out of Rascal. So, yeah, no, best scene goes to Benji.
Oh no. Okay. In all fairness, in the future, Ben,
Mm-hmm.
Cece,
Yes, my dear.
bless your forgetfulness, but also Benji only has 1 in composure, so you really should be fucking with me a lot more than you do.
Oh, don't worry about it.
That's okay.
It'll come.
It'll
come.
I thought it was gonna come right then and there while Rascal was spouting some bullshit. I was like, oh no.
I was expecting him to go into frenzy and then go through with the diablerie.
I'm just grateful that I got to end up having a small part of feeding Rascal into the wood chipper. That is Benji.
I mean, I probably should have had you rolling a frenzy check, but I knew that you were going to beat the shit out of this guy. It was just a matter of whether or not you had enough control over yourself, which you potentially would have spent a willpower on anyway, to keep yourself from diablerizing this man.
Yeah.
Oh, it was close.
Gotta give in to those spot instincts.
Yeah, no. Rascal like, I have all these great plans, all of this and that. And Benji's just like, would you fucking
Yep.
So Benji, congratulations! You have now inherited your new empire that you wanted.
I really did, didn't I?
You might even have
Well,
some
you-
allies in that regard.
My
Oh my god.
my best scene thought goes to Benji.
Yay.
Best line.
I don't think it could qualify as a line, but the entire accusation,
It's just
Yeah.
a string of
just
lines.
going full on Columbo.
Yeah.
Oh
Urien's
god,
expositing.
I have a gift for this. Like Urien going off, and it's like mind blown gif. Hold on. I'll just post it in code. You know, the one where the guy is like in space and he's just like,
Wow, I love that. That's so good. That's perfectly applicable.
I'd also say this.
yeah. It's this Always Sunny from Philadelphia, the one guy
Yeah.
just like
Oh
going
yeah.
off.
Oh yeah. That's Urien in a nutshell. The guy going off. Yes, I completely understand. For those of you who don't know, they are posting these in our Coterie chat.
We're posting gifs.
Posting
Memes.
gifs, memes, all the works.
Memes and
So,
dreams.
unless there's an argument for a different line,
No.
then Urien
No,
expositing
no.
and ripping into Rascal's basically his whole livelihood. That's what you get from
And his life.
and line and life.
It's
Urien
okay,
gets it for a
Urien.
line.
It's okay, Urien. We'll get you to the golden number next session. No
Derek?
jokes.
No.
Dirk.
Everything done?
Darren. Oh,
I'm just smiling.
I love it. I love it. I love that.
There's a part of my brain that is going, I can't believe that shit worked. Like, on an out of character level, I'm like, this is amazing. On an in character moment,
Urien's
or
freaking
an
the fuck out.
in-character
How did the fuck that work?
Yeah. In
How the fuck
character,
did I pull that
it's
off?
all a part of plan. Out of character, oh dear God. I can use this. Oh dear God, I can use this. And oh my God!
Pulled the biggest brain play, a bigger brain play than you thought that you were going to do. And I love it. I'm here
Urien's
for it.
inner thoughts. Oh my god, that worked. Oh my god, that worked. I was bullshitting the whole time.
So-
yeah.
Oh.
Love it. Love
I'm
it.
sorry.
So good.
Fine.
Benji's hyped because this finally ended up going, and Urien finally ended up having that moment where it's like, yeah, we know on how Urien plays. Because I love this, right? Immediately, what was it? Oh God, what was his name? Kenneth says, well played, right? How to get Baron Jameson to the table, right? He thinks that's well played, and then all of a sudden that happens. Bitch, you haven't seen nothing yet.
You've impressed some people.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, some people should be fucking terrified. Everybody else, I want to end up having all the potents. No, the most broken skill on the planet. High intelligence, high wits, high politics.
Mm-hmm. Broken. OP. Must nerf.
OPAF, please nerf.
Beautiful. Love it.
So in that sense, can I can I recover that aggravated willpower damage?
Blah, 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 blah. Let me look at your character sheet. You took aggravated willpower damage?
I did.
Yeah.
No, you took.
Got myself in frenzy, right?
No, it was a superficial.
It was superficial? Oh.
Yep.
Well,
But you recover it
I
anyway.
accomplished that anyways. I fed.
Yep.
Bless.
Bless.
I don't think Urien has a very devoted pit bull now.
You owe me, Benji.
Bark, bark.
Woof woof, motherfucker.
I am a political mastermind.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Cricket's an old player of mine. Yeah, chat, and she is she's seen it. You want to hear some old stories? There it is.
I love it. Any expenditures of that XP?
And just as a shout out, yeah, Cricket. Don't forget, I'm also responsible for killing a prince with a giant mannequin head of an ant from Giant Ants 8, The Mandibles of Doom. Yes, I still remember that.
Wow.
Wow.
That's odd.
But yes, there is actually expenditure.
What would you like to do with your XP?
I'd like to spend 5 XP and buy Auspex 1.
Do it.
Nice.
Woo!
I am saving because I need Blood Sorcery 4 and 5 desperately.
And I'd like to pick up, I think Heightened Senses would be the right pick here because of the fact that with Amber's critical success, her, she's been hyper aware of everything in her surroundings at the moment. So I think Heightened Senses would be the right pick.
It makes sense.
I have one expenditure, but I need to run it by you first.
Yes. Please do. Right now.
Remember how I was talking about Dominate?
Uh-huh.
Benji wants Dominate.
Let's actually look at that here. Let me...
You're gonna need to taste the blood of somebody who can use Dominate, and is going to need a resonance that mirrors with Dominate.
Both of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But thankfully, you have drank the blood of someone who knows Dominate.
Oh, I did, haven't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you have had phlegmatic blood. Because his
It has to be
resonance to that.
No, my herd! Okay.
And the Coteries herd.
And the coteries.
Yeah, and the Coteries herd.
Coteries herd was phlegmatic.
So yeah, he meets the prerequisites.
He meets the prerequisites, you can take Dominate 1.
Alright. I gotta decide.
And you didn't have to diablerize someone to do it.
Holy shit.
I mean, if you had, you would have been able to go to like Dominate 2 or 3.
Evil Masterminder.
Baby boy got his first Dominate.
So is it Cloud Memory or Compel?
We're gonna go with Compel.
Fair enough.
Amber's probably going to be looking to get Dominate game.
Because Benji's not a charismatic person, but he's really good at telling people what to do. Pushing them around.
You now have Dominate 1. Congratulations.
I cry.
Everything's looking up Benji today.
Oh.
Yes. Because Benji needed this. Benji needed this, and I think Specs needed this. And I am more than pleased to be a part of this.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love
Thank you,
it.
Derek. This was such a good fucking game.
And it's only gonna get more difficult from here.
Yeah.
I have borne witness.
I'm gonna end up laughing because somebody's gonna end up going like, okay, here's the VOD, here's the clip. Just watch what happens when Derek just kind of completely snaps, and then watch what happens when Specs is allowed to finally, like, I get to use Brawl, Potence, Strength in front of Barons, and it's completely legal.
You can fucking hear my excitement.
Shit, yes.
Nice. Well,
Rip and tear. That's what
Until
it
it
is.
is done.
Yep. I am glad that you all have enjoyed this wonderful session of episode 5 of season 2 of San Antonio by Night.
Mm-hmm.
We will
I'm
be.
gonna be telling Mox to watch this pod.
Yes, please. Please
Yeah.
feel free
I-
to share
what-
everywhere.
Show. What was the Ventures player's name in your real life? Michael, was it? Was it
Eh,
the Venture player in your Brisbane game?
Oh,
Michael?
Michael, yeah.
Yeah. Show Michael that clip.
Yeah, I'm going to.
And I also wanted to do a quick shout out to Warrior Longknife for the follow, and I did throw up a link in chat for the VOD list on YouTube for those of you who want to catch up on San Antonio by Night. I will be throwing the VOD up for this episode fairly soon, so be on the lookout for that. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But yeah. Cricket69, also, thank you so much for the follow. You are now a cool kitty. So, thank you everyone for watching. We hope to see you next week, Wednesday, for more San Antonio by Night to figure out what exactly the coterie will be doing to further prepare San Antonio for the Camarilla incursion that is rumored to be coming. And later on this week, Thursday, that's tomorrow. I shouldn't say later on this week, but tomorrow we'll be doing more art. So be on the lookout for that, for some caffeine fix. Go ahead and take a look at the Discord too, because we have one of those. And say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good evening, folks.
Good evening, everyone.
And we are also going to go quickly raid Maddie. So, good night, everybody.